Hi guys, and thanks for tuning in again. Today's video is about a highly controversial topic, analog summing. I'm very sure that there are a lot of different opinions about analog summing. Some of you might swear on it, while others wouldn't spend a dime on it. I have a lot of A/B tests for you, so you can make your own judgment. I will compare 3 different summing methods. Number 1, in-the-box summing. Number 2, summing through this little passive analog summing box. And number 3, last but not least, summing through my lovely console. I made a video about the restoration. You can find it here or down in the description. And let's jump right in.
Eyes of blue and green, longing for dark sin, color like the ground. Your cry is their hymn. They're coming for your honey. Bees losing their hope. They wanna drink from your lips, hunting you down.
Let me know if you could hear a difference and if you have a guess which was which. And before we jump to another example, let's take a quick look at the theory. Analog summing is the process of combining multiple audio tracks using an external analog summing mixer instead of summing them digitally in your DAW. All individual tracks are summed through resistors, which results in the overall mix being quieter. This principle is called passive summing, because there's no active electronics to amplify the signal back to the original loudness. And if there is a built-in amplifier, then it's called active summing. There are different types of amplifiers with different components like transformers, transistors, sometimes tubes, and of course it will affect the sound. But it's very important to know the difference between active and passive summing, because it will become more important later in the video. And now we know that this little box is a passive summing box because it only consists of some TRS checks and some resistors. And on the other hand, my console is an active summing box with all the electronics inside, in and output transformers, a lot of transistors, a lot of all the good stuff. If you want to be very precise, what I'm doing here is kind of cheating, because I'm not summing every individual channel from my Cubase project, which sometimes is more than 100 channels. I'm only summing the stems, so in total I have 12 channels, 6 stereo groups. And yeah, of course, there is some digital summing happening. You can call this hybrid summing if you want, but you should definitely be able to hear the essential differences. And let's hear some more clips. Again, I'm very excited about your thoughts. Let me know it in the comments. And now I will do a null test. I'm in Cubase now, and I finally can tell you, and you see it on the screen, that A was in the box, B was the console, active summing, and C was the passive summing. Let's start comparing in the box with passive summing, and I will simply switch to phase, and let's see if we can hear a difference. So it's playing together now. Phase switched. Okay, wow. The signal almost disappears. That's crazy. I mean, there is a small and subtle difference, especially in the high end, but I think it comes because of the tolerance of the resistors or maybe the sound of the converters. But I think you would not hear it in the whole mix. Let's do the same thing with the console. Again, we start together in phase. Okay, thank God. There is a difference, but again, it's not a night and day difference. It's very small, but we can hear something in the whole frequency range, especially the low mids. There's something going on. And I'm pretty sure what we're hearing is not the summing. What we are hearing is the saturation from the pult, because it's from the 70s, it's full of old electronics, a lot of transistors. Let's try it with another example. Same thing, starting with in the box and passive summing.
Eyes of blue and green, longing for dark sea.
Yeah.
The ground, you cry, is there him?
And again, the signal almost disappears. You can hear a difference in the vocals. I think the difference in the vocals could be my plugins, because some of my plugins don't have total recall, like some of the Sound Toys plugins. So they sound, every time you bounce them, different. Let's hear it with the console.
Eyes of blue and green, longing for dark sea.
Yeah, here's more going on.
Like the ground,
The mid-range is different.
they're coming for your honey. Bees losing their hold.
Very, very interesting. A little conclusion. A few years ago, I wanted to have a summing mixer, and I thought that analog summing would catapult my mixes to the next level. Now I think differently. To be honest, I couldn't hear a difference between in the box and the passive summing. And also the difference between in the box and active was not that big. I mean, I could hear a difference here in my studio, but as I said, it was very small. And that's exactly what the null test showed as well. And the learning from this test is that analog summing itself almost has no impact. What we are hearing is the saturation and the coloration from the amplifier. So that means that all the analog summing boxes from API, Neve, Dangerous, they make no sense, because basically it's only passive summing combined with the active electronics. And this is definitely not the same as a console, because on a console you have a transformers or a lot of electronics in every single channel, so saturation, coloration in every single channel. And that's completely different to this analog summing boxes, because in most of these boxes you only have 2 transformers for the output stage, and that's it. Please don't get me wrong, I don't want to do a summing mixer bashing. They probably sound great, and if you have the money and you want or need some extra features like individual volume control for every channel or the pan knob, then you're good to go. But if you're just looking for an analog touch for your mixes, then in my opinion, it's better to invest your money in stereo units like the SSL Fusion or the Rupert Neve Portico, instead of spending your money for these summing mixers. Because you not only need a summing mixer, you also need good converters, a patch bay, cables, so this whole summing thing can be a very costly affair. I really hope this video helps to demystify this topic. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. And thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. There are a lot of awesome DIY projects in the making. So thanks again. See you in the next one.